Hello guys, and welcome to another video of Is It Worth It, a series where I share my review and my opinions for different video games that I have experienced. Today's video is all about Tearaway, not unfolded on the PS4, but the original one for the PS Vita. A huge disclaimer, the background of this video is from Tearaway unfolded on the PS4, mainly because the Vita does not have the gameplay record application like the PS4 does. With that being said, on to the review. Tearaway was released on November 2013 for the PlayStation Vita software. It was developed by Media Molecule, the people behind Little Big Planet and Dreams. It was published by Sony Entertainment. Tearaway is a 3D platformer that made sure that it uses every single mechanism the PS Vita was capable of using from the very beginning till the very end. By achieving this, the game feels fresh and always introduces new game mechanics that keeps gameplay new. Before I elaborate on how this is achieved, I will take the basics out first. You control the main character of the story, which is Hayota if you choose to play a male, or Atoi if you choose to play a female. These characters are referred to as messengers who are trying to reach you, the player, in order to deliver their message. You go through different stages, helping your character to reach you, and you also help the NPCs with mini side quests. It being a platformer, it means you can die by one of two ways. The first one, and the most common for me, was falling off the platform where there was no land, or there was a huge gap in between. The second one is being struck down 3 times by the enemy mobs. Since we're on the topic of gameplay, I will now be going into further details and allow me to explain how you, the player, help your messenger along the way, and how Tearaway uses all of the features of the PS Vita. To start things first, you control your messenger, Ayota in my case, with the analog sticks. The left one is being used to move around, and the right one to adjust the camera to your liking. The square button is the way Ayota interacts with the environment, whether it is to talk to an NPC or pick up items such as rocks, enemies, and etc. You can use the button X to jump and the circle in order to roll around. Finally, the triangle button allows Ayota to pick up the camera and take pictures of the world or selfies. Being in the topic of the camera mechanism, the camera can be used in-game to take pictures of the mobs and selfies for Ayota in order for him to be accepted in the newly allocable area. However, this is in-game mechanism, not the actual Vita cameras. So, it makes sense that the cameras of the Vita can also be used throughout the game. As I mentioned, the messenger is trying to reach you, who in-game you are being referred to as the Use. Basically, the sun of the world had a giant hole, and the selfie camera on your Vita reflects your face in the world. Throughout the game, the selfie camera is being used for Ayota to know how close to you he really is, and sometimes you are requested to take selfies in order for those pictures to be used later on in the game. However, the Vita has 2 cameras, not just one. The back camera is mainly being used for you to show or insert color patterns in the world, whether to customize random enemies or to customize items within the world, such as books. The microphone of the Vita is also being used for the game. You are asked a couple of times to record sounds that will be heard throughout the game, whether it's the enemies making a shrine for you or simply giving your voices to NPC. R1 and L1 are used early in the game for the camera handles, but later on they're being used as weapon that the Ayota gets. L1 is used to absorb enemies and R1 to shoot them. The motion sensors, which is basically turning your Vita left, right, up and down, are being used to move items around the world near Ayota for him to walk around, whether that's in the form of making a bridge or just push items aside. Think of it like this: there are 2 lands away from each other, and there is one paper roll on the top of the screen in a non-reachable area. You will have to hold your Vita vertically for the roll to roll down to Ayota's location, then hold your Vita still and use the analog sticks to cross the roll in order to reach the other side of the area. The last 2 features of the Vita are the touchscreen and the touchpad. The touchpad on the back of the screen is used to help the Ayota maneuver around the world and push enemies away. Around the world, you will see areas that look like a white gift wrap with the PS buttons of circle, square, triangle, and X. This indicates that you can use the touchpad to bring your fingers in-game to push enemies away, or most commonly used to move platforms closer to Ayota. There are also areas that look like drums where you'll have to take Ayota to stand on top in order for you to tap the touchpad to result in IOTA launching into higher areas. Last but not least, the touchscreen. Similar to the touchpad, the touchscreen is also capable of being used to help IOTA out. There are areas that look like a silver tape that you will have to touch and drag in order to create path. The touchscreen is also being used in order to add your own touch to the world. As I mentioned, the camera is being used to decorate the world with the images you take. However, at times you're being requested to craft the world yourself. So, you're given different colored cardboards, a pencil and a pair of scissors in order to create your own items within the world. You can create items for an NPC, faces, animals, posters, or even natural environment items such as snowflakes. The world is yours, do as you please. Speaking of worlds, Tearaway has by far its own unique identity. Everything is completely out of paper. You know how you see a game filled with pixelized blocks and you instantly recognize it as Minecraft? Well, this one is filled with the origami, paper, cardboards, and different paper crafts. It's so fascinating how everything in this universe is made out of paper. Even effects, such as dust blown in the desert or splash in the water, is made out of paper. This also opens for some unique and clever level design, such as the fact that your character can walk vertically by stepping into paper that has wet glue in it, or stages where the enemy hangout is filled with your pictures and different newspapers thrown left and right. There are even basketball hooks where you can throw rocks inside it. The game is not fully open world like it was meant to be originally, but it does feel like it since you start at the ground trying to reach the top, then drop down and go into different areas. There are plenty of side quests, unlockables and rewards to be found around each corner. An amazing fact is that the collectibles you find are literally instructions on how to craft the characters yourself. Last but not least, the music in each level is beautiful and helps separate each area or give it the right atmosphere. It's probably not the music you'll be listening at the time unless it's your style. Personally, I enjoyed the music a lot while playing it, but as I mentioned, you won't catch me listening to it outside of the game. Last but not least, the story of the game. The game is delivered to you in the form of a fairy tale. Two godlike beings are talking to you by breaking the fourth wall about a new tale with a new adventure that takes place after they ask you about your gender and your hand size. Then you try to do everything to help IOTA free the lands and reach you. However, whenever it seems to be that the story is about to finish and IOTA is ready to reach you, these godlike creatures interfere with the story by referring it as it seems way too easy to be the actual ending of the game, so they constantly keep changing the story to give you more lands to explore and more plot twists. But the best way to sum up the story of Tearaway is IOTA's journeys to reach you and deliver you his message. To sum up, Tearaway is a great game worth experiencing. Its unique art style and gameplay made for one-of-a-kind experience and one that will absolutely be remembered. Because of how much I liked it, I proceeded to buy the PS4 version, thus the gameplay, and hopefully have a different kind of similar experience. The game's overall time is relatively short. Personally, it took me around 7 to 8 hours, but it offered more than a game double its size had to offer. If you have a Vita, I would highly recommend it, and again, this is for the psVita, not the PS4 version. Well, this is the end of the video. I hope you found this review helpful. If you did, please leave a like and a comment below letting me know your thoughts and opinions. Till then, take care and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!